Good morning everyone and welcome to Chapter 2 where we are going to be working with inequalities. Section 2.1 is dealing with writing and graphing inequalities. An inequality is a mathematical sentence that compares two expressions using is less than, is greater than, is less than or equal to, or is greater than or equal to. When we go and we graph the inequality, right? When we graph the inequality, when we have is less than, we're going to use an open dot. When we have is greater than, we're going to use an open dot. But when we move over here to is equal to and is greater than, we have to use closed dots. Right? So is less than, open dot. Is greater than, open dot. Is less than or equal to, closed dot. And is greater than or equal to, closed dot. This is important because an open dot means you exclude the point, you don't include the point. And a closed dot means you do include it. It does fit the function. Alright, so let's jump into examples. Remember, this is 2.1, writing and graphing inequalities. So, a number x minus 5 is less than negative 10. So, a number x minus 5 is less than negative 10. So, we have to write an inequality that fits this. So, a number x, right? So, a number x minus 5 is less than negative 10. So we have a number x minus 5 is less than negative 10. So that's all they are looking for there. Today we're going to be adding and subtracting across the inequality, but we'll get to that later. So this is all they're looking for right now. So this is x minus 5 is less than 10. Same thing that example 1 is saying. Example 2. 0 is greater than or equal to twice a number x plus 1. So 0 is greater than or equal to twice a number x plus 1. So we have 0 is greater than or equal to twice a number x plus 1. We have 0 greater than or equal to twice the number. What is twice the number? Twice the number is going to be 2x, right? Twice the number. So whatever x is, we're going to take twice of it. And then plus 1. So How is everyone feeling about that? Pretty easy? Pretty easy? Cool. So this is just giving words and saying what the words, writing what the words say. Okay. So, example 3. We just want to know, is -4 a solution? So I'm going to give us 2 inequalities. We have x plus 8 is less than 3. And then for b, we have -2x is greater than 30. And we want to know, is -4 a solution? So what we're going to do here is we're going to just plug -4 in for x and solve. So we're going to say -4 plus 8 is greater than 3. All right, this is saying that 8 minus 4. 8 minus 4 is 4 is less than 3. So is 4 less than 3? No, 4 is not less than 3. So -4 is not a solution. -4 is not a solution. So let's come over here, and this is supposed to be -30, my bad. It's -30. So again, we'll plug -4 in, so -2 times a -4 is greater than -30. A negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times 2, 8 is greater than -30. So is 8 greater than 30? Yes, 8 is greater than -30. So yes, -4 is a -4 is a solution. Perfect. All right. So all that was pretty straightforward. Next, we're gonna get into graphing. And remember what we said at the beginning. If it's a equal to or equal to sign, we're going to use a closed dot. If it's just a less than or greater than, we use an open dot. All right, that's really important because we need to know if we include or if we exclude it. It's the main part of this lesson, so we have to drill that and get it. So the next thing we're going to do is just graph each inequality. So we're going to graph. So, for example 1, we have y is less than or equal to 3. Negative. Sorry, -3. So, we're going to graph. I'm going to draw a number line. We're going to put this number right in the middle of the graph. So we're going to say -3, and we're going to use 2 numbers. We're going to put one number smaller than -3, so we'll go -4, and one number larger than -3. We'll say -2. So we only want 3 numbers. We don't want to get crazy, because what if our number line was like 1,000? We wouldn't want to draw a little 1,000 dots. So let's just put 3 points on our graph. So, the point here, we know it's going to have to be a closed dot. All right, so we're going to have a closed dot on -3. And if the y, if it goes y is less than or equal to a number, or, right, if our y is the first in our inequality, it kind of makes an arrow. So this is, arrow is going this way. If we make it an arrow, it's saying let's shade that way. So there you go. We shade, right? So this is saying -4 is less than or equal to 3. Yep, that works. -100 is less than or equal to 3. That works too. That works too. So this is how we graph it. So we'll have example 2. We have 2 is greater than x. 2 is greater than x. I want you guys to try to graph this one on your own. Remember to know if this is an open dot or a closed dot. And let's see if we come up with the same answer. Alright, how'd y'all do? Hopefully our graphs match. We'll walk through it. So, we want to put the x at the beginning, right? Just like we did up here. It was already set for us. So when we take this, we have to go and just flip the entire thing over. So we put the x first, the 2, and make sure the point is pointing at the right? So this is pointing at the x. You want to make sure the inequality is still pointing at the x. Right? It tells us the direction we need to shade. And we know this is going to be an open dot. Perfect? Awesome. Example 3. Example 3. Example 3, we have 0 is less than x. Right, so same thing. We want to turn this around. So we're going to put an x here, a 0 here. The inequality is pointing at the 0, so we want to point at the 0. When we go and graph this, we put 0 in the middle of the graph. One bigger, one smaller, we'll do 1 and -1. This is going to be an open dot. And we're going to shade to the right. So not too tough. Okay, so let's get that down. It's the key's flipping it, right? As soon as we put it in this form, it's super easy to graph. You guys are going to become masters at it. So now we're going to do the opposite. I'm going to give you the graph, and then we're going to come up with the point. Okay, so first, we know we're going to have an x, right? We could always start with an x. We know that we're going to have a -3. Now we have to determine what we have to use. What inequality symbol is it going to be? Equal? Is it going to be is less than? Is it going to be greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, right? We have 5 we could choose from. Because it's an open dot, we know it has to be less than or greater than. It's one of these, right? But since we have x on the left-hand side already, we just have to point the arrow to x. So we know it's going to be is less than. So we have x is is less than negative 3. Right? Start with an x, start with a 3. And then we have to determine the inequality symbol based off the color of the dot. And then point it at the x, or point it at the 3. So, example 2, we have so, same thing. We're going to start with an x and a 10. Now, is there shading on this graph at all? Right? There's no shading. So we know that it can't be right off the bat is less than or equal to, is greater than or equal to, is less than, or is greater than. Can't be any of those. So we only have one left. If there's only one point on the graph, we say is equal to. X is equal to 10. Right? There's no other option. X will be equal to 10. Alright, so that one was kind of easy, but should be shown. This will come up later, maybe on a test or an exam. So we're going to have a U try. Alright, so here's your graph. We're going to have 5, 6, and 4. We're going to have a closed dot. We're going to have it shaped this way. So I'll give you guys a minute to try to work on that, and let's see how you do. You guys are done, you can check your answer on the board. So, we have an x, and we have our 5, and the dot is closed, so we know it's going to be is less than or equal to, or is greater than or equal to. And we just want to point it to where it shades, right? So this one's pointing in this direction, and this one's pointing in this direction, right? So we know we want to use is greater than or equal to. All right, so that's all of the work today. Pretty easy lesson. We'll build on it more next time. The homework today is page 58 to 59, problems 5 through 10, 15 to 20, 30 to 35, 41, and 42. I'll write it on the board, and then I will end the video. Good job today, guys. So we have homework. We got page 58 to 59. Numbers 5 through 10, 15 through 20, 30 to 35, 41, and 42. Alright, have a nice day everyone. Make sure you copy this down and do your homework.